Welcome to Buzzing About Romance Happy Hour. I am Becky,
And I am Leah.
and we are so excited, so excited. Tonight, we are joined by author Aurora Rose Reynolds. Hi, Aurora.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
Um,
We are so happy to have
we're
you.
so excited to have you here. Because honestly, your books, and we got to talk to you early this year. Uh,
hmm
Back in February, we talked about the Boom and Boom Factory and all the fun stuff we're doing in your
Yes.
world. Um, but your Underground Kings are one of the first series that Leah and I really bonded over.
Yeah.
Um,
hmm
because
Well, just Assumption, really.
I'm
Just the
obsessed with
mattress scene. We
Assumption.
bonded over the mattress scene.
Everybody always, every time Assumption gets brought up, that's like, they're like, and
Mattress
the
scene.
mattress scene. Like, yeah.
hmm
I um I was messaging with Shauna the other day and I said, "You haven't read that yet?" She goes, "I'm trying to get through all the
Wait, Shauna
Intils."
hasn't read it yet?
No. And I'm like,
She just started,
I don't know if we can be friends anymore, Shauna. I'm just throwing that out there.
she just started reading me, and she was like, I didn't know. And I was like, oh, now you've experienced the boom. It doesn't,
hmm
there is nothing better than the boom, though. The boom is
hmm
everything.
Once you boom, you don't go back.
Yeah.
You
Keep
really
booming.
don't. You
I need
really
some
don't.
taglines. Let's get some taglines.
We're really good at doing that too. So we
Well, we
had
like to pretend we are at least.
we had drunk book club the other night, and we helped the author like write her next three series with all the funny, quirky scenes we
Oh,
could
that's
come up
fun.
with. uh, okay,
There's a
so
lot of chaos that night.
there was a lot of chaos. That's what happens when you put me on cold medicine. um, so tonight we're celebrating Aurora Rose Reynolds and the release of Until Willow is out today, wherever
Yeah.
you get
hmm
books. It's such a good story.
Thank you.
Such a good story.
I
Um,
loved writing it. I really did.
I just and we'll get into it, but I just really liked Willow's character. She felt a little different than what we typically see um with the sisters, than what we saw with the sisters.
Yeah.
hmm
And
Um
it's funny because I thought that April was going to be like my most like independent. And then I met
hmm
with and I was like, well, okay. Yeah.
yeah. Um okay, Leah, do you want to read Aurora's bio?
Aurora Rose Reynolds is a New York Times, USA Today, and Wall Street Journal best-selling author whose wildly popular series include Until Him, Until Her, Underground Kings, and Shooting Stars. Her writing career started in an attempt to get the outrageously alpha men who resided in her head to leave her alone and has blossomed into an opportunity to share her stories with readers all over the world.
Okay, rules of the night. You can ask all the questions in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them. In the description of the video are the links to all the places to connect with Aurora. Um, okay, so you're on, Leah. You get the rest of the night because
Okay,
I'm gonna lose my
so we're
voice.
going
We
to
know
kick
it.
things off in our traditional way. Yeah, Becky's getting over being sick, so if she just like taps out, that's why. What are you drinking tonight? Are you just drinking some water? Because that's okay too.
Water.
It's
Water.
Tuesday.
I
It
know.
is Tuesday, but I deserve to drink tonight.
It's okay to have a drink. You know what? I found like when I hit my 40s, that nightly drink that I would have prior to being 40, now
hmm
the next day I'm not in a good place. I'm like, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I can do like a small amount, like on a given day, but it's
Yeah.
those bigger drinking nights that I definitely like. It's a
Yeah.
2 or 3 day recovery
Yeah.
when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't have that. My bigger problem is I used to be able to drink coffee, like caffeine,
Oh,
anytime at
see, I
night,
can drink
and no
caffeine.
problem.
It's my job.
But now if we have night coffee, it needs to be a plan.
Yeah. You're
You know,
like,
like I
See,
need
I
the
can drink night coffee and then go straight to bed. Night coffee doesn't affect me.
Oh, I got that now. Did you guys do anything special to celebrate your release?
My husband and I went out to breakfast and then we finished Christmas shopping. Hopefully.
Mm,
It
yeah,
seem
hope.
pointless because like you're like, oh, I forgot about that person.
Mhm.
Or it's like some random thing. You're like, damn it, I need to get that.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
never
I
in the
always, I realized today I never got my parents something. And I was like,
yeah.
crap, I can't order anything because it's not going to get here.
Yeah. So then you actually have to
And I saw, I saw the flowers that he got you too.
yes, he got me beautiful flowers. Yeah.
That's so
He
awesome.
he is very good about spoiling me.
That's so
That's so sweet.
nice. That's so I want flowers. Mike Burrier, if you're watching, I want flowers. I don't know for what. What I
See,
just
I don't like I would rather have like a plant that you can put outside because flowers die. Then I have dead flowers in my house.
Then I have dead plants in my house.
see, yeah. I'm just gonna kill anything and
This is
everything.
true.
Basically, he should just buy me bottles of
Oh,
vodka. I
There
mean,
you go.
that's
There you
probably
go.
the
That'll
better,
work.
Bottle of champagne.
right?
Yeah.
Um. So,
okay, so what are you doing?
oh, I'm drinking bourbon and lemon juice, Makers and lemon juice and honey.
It's probably good for your throat.
Yeah.
It's good for the throat.
It's for my throat.
Shauna says your hair is on fire. Get it, girl. Because Shauna showed up finally. That's right.
Well, she sent me a message. She's like, "Are you supposed to be on right now?" It's like, "Oh, yes, I'm going. I'm trying to get my kid out of my office."
It's okay. I was running a little bit late because I had to pick my oldest up from a meeting. I texted Becky. I was like, I will be there by 9. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We understand. So why romance?
Why romance?
Why romance?
I think it because I love all kinds of stories. Like I love suspense and I love like fantasy, but I only love it if there's like romance because I like to see that like connection between two people and like to like watch them progress from meeting to getting to know each other and then like falling in love. So for me, that's why it's romance. Like why romance?
So
Did you always read romance, or did you have a favorite author that like kind of
I
was your
was
gateway?
so I was not a reader. I was like no reading whatsoever. And then I read Twilight and that led me into Black Daggers of the Brotherhood. And that led me into KA. And then from there it just like was like a whole new world. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just need that one like gateway
Yeah.
drug.
Yeah. I think because like I was so not against reading, but I hadn't found something that I enjoyed reading because when you're in school, you have to read certain things.
Right.
And it was just none of them were for me. I just didn't love them, you know. But I mean, then I found the alpha male and I was like, wow, I love
You're like, I like that.
yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite trope that you like to write or to read now?
I love fantasy. I wish that I had the imagination to write it because I just think it's like amazing that somebody can come up with a whole different world, like with different things and different like environments, and it's just mind-boggling to me, and I love reading fantasy.
Well, in building lore, I think that there's a poeticism to the lore building that has to go into fantasy and an imagination that's beyond me.
Well, and there are some authors out there, they're so detailed in the way they create their worlds. Like they like it's so fantastical, but every creature has a name, and it boggles my mind how
Can you imagine trying to
elaborate.
I can't. Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah.
So somebody wants to know, who are your favorite authors?
So my favorite fantasy author is actually Amy Bartol. And it's funny because her books, the guys are alpha, but like the couples kind of get together, but then they don't. There's always like a anti-hero that's like
Mhm.
breaking them apart and then like kind of stealing almost the spotlight from the hero of the book and stealing the girl. Some, I don't know.
Mhm.
She's like one of my favorites. I love KA. I love Natasha Madison. I love Rochelle. I love Sarah Nye. I love, God, there's so many. Like,
You're
oh,
naming
It's
all
one
our
of those.
favorites.
I love
So
It's the
you're like,
hard.
I love, like there's so
It's
many.
a hard question.
It depends on like what I'm in the mood to read.
Mhm.
So if I want something that's a little bit more angsty or something that is a little bit more um insta love, or it depends
Mhm.
on what I'm in the mood for. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I'm 100% a mood reader, so I flit, and it's tough sometimes because like there will be books that we need to read for the podcast and I'm not in like the mindset to
I feel
do it.
like
I'm like,
yeah.
but I have to like force myself through it. And like, I would have loved that so much more if it was like last week.
Yeah. Yeah. That has to be hard. I can't imagine being an editor or a blogger where, it's kind of my job to read,
Mhm.
and it's taken like some of maybe
it's
the
like
fun
you're,
out of it.
it's hard. It's hard because both Leah and I work in publishing.
Mhm.
And so it's hard because part of it is books are my love. Like they are my love language. I have always been a reader. I would rather read than watch television. There's
Yeah.
nowhere I feel better than when I'm with a book. That being said, I have to read books for my day job
Yeah.
that aren't necessarily my cup of tea. And then
Yeah.
I have to be like, switch that off and switch over to Podcast Becky. And that's part of the reason we do what we do. We pick the authors we want to talk to. We pick
Yeah.
the books we want to
Mhm.
feature because we want to talk to the people whose stories we love. Like, I can pick up an Aurora Rose Reynolds book and I'm always going to be happy. I am,
Mhm.
it's one of those that it works. And so I call it my day hours and my night hours. So after 5, I only read,
What you want.
podcast stuff. I don't read any of my
Mhm.
work stuff. Um, and then I always take a nap in the middle of the day to help break the day up.
There you go.
Every day.
I
Every
love
day.
my naps. Leave them alone, Leah. I should live in Europe and like have siesta time. That's what I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
You live in Ohio and you have siesta
I do.
time.
I do. Okay, so we got some really great questions here in the chat. I did put
I
Aurora's
know, I was just
Facebook
gonna ask
page
those.
in the chat. So if you aren't following her on Facebook, make sure you give her a follow over there. You are one of the kindest authors. I think almost every week you share a list of who released books that week,
Yeah.
which I think is just, I love that you're willing to be out there supporting other authors and building up the genre in the community.
Thank you. Yeah. One of my friends, she is also an author, and her name is Jessica Merritt. She's amazing
Mhm.
as an author. She's an author that I read. And she actually does that for me every week. And like on weeks that it hasn't happened, people are like, "Where's the list?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh."
I go
You're
to
like,
that list
yes.
almost every week to see if I forgot to pre-order anything and to
Well, and
figure
somebody
what I
said
need
she
to buy.
loves the release list and she's found a lot of her new authors from that.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, so someone is Lisa's asking, what is something different about your writing from Until November to Until Willow? So is there just one boy left that's not married? No, there's one.
Boy,
Is that
One
it?
boy,
One boy.
one girl.
He's the last one.
Bax is
I have
left.
Nalia and Hannah, and that's it for the girls. I have 3 kids left.
Oh, I forgot about Hannah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she's the one who's been talking to me. Like the
So
other
is Hannah
2,
next?
I don't know yet. I don't know because that's not a book that I'm going to write right now. I'm writing a book called Forever. It's
Mhm.
like she gets a job at her friend's tech. Well, it's not her. She takes her friend's place. Her friend had a baby. She takes her job as the assistant to the owner of the business. And like her second week there, he calls her early in the morning and is like, "You have to meet me at the airport." And she's like,
Mhm.
"What?" And when she gets to the plane, he's like, "You have to pretend to be my fiance for this week." And she doesn't know. And like he hands her like a list of like, these are things about me, basically, and like about how we met. Like, this is our whole life. But she's like
This
so
is our
fun
dossier.
that she's like, "No." So she doesn't read any of this, and she gets there, and they're at his family's reunion. And so,
So when do I get this book that you're reading?
so this comes out in March. So they're like, she's like with his
Now,
entire family, they're sharing a room, and she's like, okay, but her mom has just like gotten over cancer. Not gotten over, but
mhm.
she just went through her last treatment and she's in remission. And she wants to take her to France. So she's like, I need the money. Like, So she's like, all right, I'm gonna be the best fiance that he's ever
I do
had.
like a I do like a fake relationship.
Yeah.
So
And
is that book tied into anything or is it
nothing.
completely
No, it's
standalone?
just a standalone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a standalone. I just really would like
I
that.
just was
So,
curious. I just was
I
curious if
mean,
we're going to
is that
see anybody
pre-order
we
live?
know. It
Yeah.
is.
It is live, yeah.
I already pre-ordered it.
Just
She
now
posted
or
about it
before?
no, like 2 weeks ago. As soon as she posted, I was like, click.
How did I miss
Yeah.
that?
But it's like it's gonna be
You're
like
living under a
funny,
rock.
a little bit like he's a little bit of a jerk at the beginning, and then like one of his family members starts like hitting on her, and he's like, wait a second, no,
That's
you
not
know,
okay.
yeah. So it'll be so good. I'm
I
very
do like a little bit of a douchebag who
yeah,
realizes
and
he's
he is,
But you kind
but
of do that to your guys because
it's true.
my
Because
favorite
Claire,
hero
oh yeah.
is Kenya. I love him.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
He was a giant
in
douchebag.
the beginning of that book, he's
yeah,
an asshole. Like,
he really is.
Yeah, but Sven was kind of an asshole too
I
in
think
his
that whole
book.
series, I kind of made all of them jerks. Yeah.
but they're my
Justin
favorite
wasn't a jerk.
jerks.
Justin was just
No,
intense.
no, no, no.
He was
Yeah.
just a sweetheart.
Yeah.
They're all my favorite, though. I love them so much. Ugh. Um. Oh, so the girl that is Green Witch in the chat, her name is Jen Peppersmith from your group.
Oh,
And she
yes.
just had to jump in here and get a behind the scenes peek at your writing life. So I love that we get to do this and get to tell everybody a little bit about your
So
writing and who you are.
Lisa also wants to know, except when you have a new release, because we're sure you hear about them, which of your couples do your readers talk about or message you the most? Or is it kind of a mix?
It's always a mix. It's always a mix. I mean, I
Hmm.
think that the most is like any Until book, like
Hmm.
from the first generation to the second. Like it's people are constantly messaging about that series.
Hmm.
Um, I wish that more people would message about my Shooting Star series because that's my favorite. That
Hmm.
like one that a lot of readers just aren't. I
That's
don't
your
know.
Alaska series, right?
Yeah, they're scared. I think people are very scared to take a chance on that series.
Hmm.
But I think any Until book is pretty much.
See, it's funny. I really loved your outdoor adventure series that you just did with Motley. So
Yeah,
Hmm.
reckless, risky,
rushed.
rushed.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that series. I liked those three heroes a lot. I
Hmm.
think the third book is absolutely my favorite in that series.
it was my favorite too.
That couple, because they needed each other more than So, and that's kind of the feels I had a little bit with Until Willow, that they
Mhm.
didn't realize they needed each other, but Clay and Willow needed each other.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I really liked about this is, I mean, the boom is such a prevalent part of like her life and her family's life, but she really fought it and like
Yeah.
didn't want to recognize like that is what is happening right now.
Yeah. I think she knew. I
Hmm.
think she kind of knew, but she was also like, no, no, thank you.
Hmm.
Pass.
Well, she she kind of like Clay was definitely this consuming person in a room. Like he could suck the oxygen out of the room. He had this presence about her.
Presence, yeah.
And I think that she gets that with her father a lot too, that he's this presence that kind of sucks the oxygen of the room. So I felt like that's why she fought it, because she's, how many of us
Well,
really
because
do end up
Clay is her
marrying our
dad.
father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is the second generation Nico.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he is her dad.
So she was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I think,
Well, and that's one thing. Like, I thought it was so funny that Nico was like, had such a hard time with him because it was like looking in a mirror. And I'm like, you don't like him? Do you not like yourself very much?
Yeah. I agree. I
um,
agree.
that the,
But I
for,
loved them when I don't want to give away spoilers, but so if you haven't read it, cover your ears. But when they're at the her and her dad and Bax are at the restaurant and
Hmm.
he asks her, "Are you in love with him?" Or and she's
Hmm.
like, "I don't know, but I'm falling in love with him."
Hmm.
No, I think that made him like it didn't soften him, it didn't change his like perspective, but it kind
Right.
of made him be like, okay, well, I can't like I can't stop it,
Hmm.
if that's what it is.
yeah.
Well, I think he recognized too that like if the more he fought it, the worse it was going to be for him because she basically even said like if I have to choose, like I choose him.
Yeah.
And Nico was like, oh fuck, I just have to like him and deal with it.
The grocery store scenes with him and her, and then the little girl, his niece, her name
Hmm.
just went out my head.
Winter.
What?
Winter.
Winter. Yes. Um,
Hmm.
that scene was so fun. Like she
Hmm.
wanted lasagna, like she wanted good food, and he's like, "No, I can't
I
do
don't know
it."
how to make that.
And that's like my kid is like that. Like he doesn't love to go to take out, or
Hmm.
he's like, can you cook something for me to eat? That doesn't have,
You're like, no,
um,
no, I don't want to do that.
I'm like,
Sometimes
sure.
you don't want to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
So
I love Winter though. She's so cute. I can't
I
wait.
loved any scene that she was in. Like, I'm excited for her dad's book just to see the dynamic of her and like how his relationship changes. I just am excited.
any of the
Yeah.
But
uncles, okay. I mean, we have to talk about Until Willow because we will, but um, those brothers, the Foster
mhm.
brothers,
Yes.
are they going to get their own series?
They're getting their own series.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Because I did not want to say goodbye
Do you
to
know
them.
when? Do you know
So
when?
after I finish or not until never, and for never,
Well, until never, never.
I'm gonna
That
be
never
writing.
book.
I'm gonna be writing Tucker's book.
Oh, I was hoping he was first
Yes.
because
Do
he
you
was a
know?
big
Can
douche
you
nugget.
take a guess of who he's gonna end up with? Let's hear what your ideas are.
Tucker?
Yeah,
Have we met her?
you didn't meet her.
We
We
didn't meet her.
didn't meet her.
You did hear about her.
The she's back in Denver then, right?
Uh,
No?
so you know how his wife was having
The
an
wife.
affair
Right.
with one
Uh-huh.
of his coworkers. And the woman,
It's the co-worker's wife.
yes,
I
yeah.
did
I
not
love
see
that.
that.
Does it start out as a revenge? A
No, no, no,
revenge?
no, not a
They
revenge,
just
but
happen
like,
upon
and
each
like,
other.
so,
That ex-wife is the worst, or that wife is the worst. She's not an ex yet. She's the worst.
she is the worst. Yeah,
The worst.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like very, like how the underground kings here, like they're not going to just like jump into a relationship.
Mhm.
It's gonna be
They're gonna fight it.
like, how do you like? They're gonna be together. They're gonna be very drawn together, but it's not gonna like,
It's not smooth sailing.
yeah,
There's a lot of fight.
yeah, because of
I
like
like
all
that.
of the every. I mean, obviously, their whole situation is like a
Mhm.
disaster.
But that's something you do banter and you do that back and forth, that arguing. And we see that quite a bit in Until Willow also.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That exchange, that power exchange with words, you do that exceptionally well. And so I can imagine that this book having some of that push and pull because of their circumstances, that is just, I can't wait. So
I'm
excited.
very excited.
Yay.
And like I mean, I don't love when a couple is not together through most of the
Mhm.
story, because even Until Willow, like they were not together, but like
But they were
the
together
book was
together.
like revolved around them,
Mhm.
not like, 3 chapters she's like doing her own thing, and then like she sees
Mhm.
him for 2 pages, and then I like it to be that you get a lot of them on the
Mhm.
page. And so it'll be
I feel
like that,
like
you know?
I feel like with April's book and May's book, you kind of like had that similar formula where like they're together, but they're not really together because one of them is fighting it. Because April definitely fought against an actual relationship in
Yeah.
her book, and May was like, he's not serious. Like this can't happen. So I think that I feel like it's the natural progression with the way your books are going, where they're together but not, but they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that you are picking topics in your books that are very modern topics,
Mhm.
but I don't think that they are, I think that they are ageless topics. So, like catfishing, that's not like a moment phenomenon. That's going to
Mm-mm.
continue to be something as our lives are more digital, that's going to continue to happen. The fear of sex trafficking and, the risks of dating online and stuff like that. Like, it's a very topical thing, prevalent thing happening right now, but I don't think it's something that's just going to age out. Um,
Yeah.
so I like that you're doing that. I like that you're bringing these modern topical issues, but they seem timeless.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's also something that, I mean, we see it every day. Like I was stunned. Well, I think it was like right after, actually, it was recently, the guy in, I think it was California, he like had catfished that young girl
Mhm.
Yeah.
online, and then showed up at her house and like destroyed her whole life. And so I feel like it's something that it's true to like today, like what happened,
Mhm.
you know we don't know who we talk to, or who, really who people are.
Right.
Don't, if you see them face to face or like on FaceTime,
Mhm.
I thought you have no idea.
You don't. But it's also, like one of the things that I can be critical of is if there's too many pop culture references in a book, I get kind of annoyed because in 3 years, is that going to still make sense? And I imagine you, as an author, you want your stories to continue on. Like,
Yeah.
we read Assumption, I think it was last year we read it.
Mhm.
It still held up. That book was 5 years old. It still held up. Like, everything still felt very,
Like there were
um,
little nuances here and there with some like technology things where I think she had to open her phone, But it's one of those things where if you're not really paying attention, although now they have the flip phone
Uh,
with the smart flip phone, so it's you could be opening your phone again, but it the the technical things and the pop culture references are so nuanced in your books, so you don't notice them as much.
yeah.
I think that takes crafting to do too. Um, Leah has a question here. Do you think you're going to do a third generation? Listen, before she can do third generations of Untils, I'm going to need some Underground King children.
Are we getting more Underground King children? Because you were a dirty tease with one of them, and we haven't seen any more of them.
I know. I don't know. I'm trying to
There's a
my
lot of
writing.
stories in there.
There is so many stories. And my writing, has slowed down since
Hmm.
my son has gotten older. Like it's just not as easy for me to disappear for hours
Oh,
to go and like write books. So it's like, what do I write? And
Hmm.
I always try to write things that are speaking to me at that moment. Otherwise, I feel like I don't enjoy it.
Hmm.
I'm just doing it because I have to do it. And and that's how that like there was a few books and while I was writing for Motley. Not that I don't love the story now, but like during the process, it was
Hmm.
stressful because I felt like it was just a push,
Hmm.
like try and get the words out. It wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. Like I loved writing Until Willow, like every second of it.
Hmm.
And so I want to say that I'm going to write all the books, but I don't know, you know?
but your
And
kids
then
are only
I'm
little once, and they're only this age one time.
Hmm.
that's the thing, like there's gonna be in a few years, he's not gonna want anything to do with me.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want him.
it's funny because my oldest is 11, and my husband was sitting on the couch, and he was in his bedroom, and he went outside and did something and came back in the house and went into his bedroom, and my husband's like, where is he? I'm like, he's in his room. Where has he been? Like, what has he done today? I was like, I don't know. He's been in his room. Like,
Yeah,
the kid does not want to hang out with me. He wants to play Lego in
yeah,
his room.
yeah,
And that keeps him happy. And he
yeah,
uses his brain. So I'm all for that.
yeah. And I mean, we're right around that corner where
Hmm.
that's gonna be my new life. And then I'll have plenty of time to pout and write.
Right? Right? And then they're like 19 and 17 and they're trying to leave you as you're like holding onto their ankles as they walk out the door. I mean,
I
that's not me. I promise.
Yeah,
I'm not ridiculous. Yes, I
yeah,
am.
Some days.
So, one of the things I loved about this book is with a lot of your Until books, we get family. I mean, these are connected family, it's big family, it's boisterous family. But with Until Willow, you kind of added in this element of found family.
yes.
And do you have one that you like to write more than the other? Found family or just family?
Um, I feel like all my stories kind of have that in them,
Hmm.
because either the hero or the heroine, one of them doesn't really have a strong connection to their family. And so they're kind of adopted into a new family that has that.
Hmm.
And so I just like writing about family. I just love, having that connection of other people who have your back, whether it's
Hmm.
by blood or by circumstance. And I think that there's something so amazing about just being able to have people in your corner that, love you no matter what. So I
Well,
have a favorite. I don't
and
know.
one thing I like though too is like the family size is not dependent on anything. Because like in your Adventures in Love series, Sybil and Jade, it's just the two of them and then Jade's parents, but it's like they're this really close-knit unit.
Yeah.
But the guys like Blake has the family, but it's like the three guys like created this their own unit in itself. So it's and like the Masons are this huge group of chaos
Yeah.
and delight. But that's one thing I love too is like your stories aren't dependent on the size, it's the feel of the family.
Yeah.
I need a sticker or something that says, like, I'm in the Mason Girl family text message. I want to be in their text message group. Like,
That's such a cute idea.
seriously, because they always pop up in the story at some point, and it's
Mhm.
like, I love them. They're so ridiculous.
I know. And, I wanted to have more time with them, but that's just, it wasn't how the story went,
Mhm.
you know?
I think this story needed the family to be away for the most of it so that
Mhm.
Yeah.
we could really see Willow.
Yeah.
Because I think she's one of those characters that can be overshadowed by the sheer volume of her family, you
Yeah.
know? And she did so for them not being there and in everything, it kind of it made her shine more.
Yeah. Well, and that's why they went to Alaska.
Mhm.
And I think that if her family would have been around, it would have been a lot more, much more difficult for Clay to work his way under her skin the way that,
Mhm.
you know, I don't think
Well,
that would have been as easy for him to do.
but I like the fact that you gave them a natural reason for not being there. Like it wasn't you just didn't have them involved. Like they weren't there for a reason. Because I've read a couple family stories where the family isn't there, but you never really know why they're not there. But they're supposedly this really tight knit family. It's like, but where are they? And like yours, like they are literally not there.
Uh,
But it's funny though, because that was one thing I liked about the story too, because Willow and Bax have a conversation about dating in general and how there's this double standard with the guys of the family and the girls of the family, and how like the guys could go and do what they wanted to, but the girls, like their dads would lose their shit
yeah.
about everything. She's like, that's not fair. He's like, well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I love that she didn't care.
Mhm.
Like, she was like, I'm going, buddy, you have to go. I love you. Shut the door, please. Love you. Yeah, we're school is out Friday. That's the last day. And Friday is party day at his school.
Oh,
So
geez.
we are done. He's like, I'm on Christmas vacation right now.
He's checked
I don't
out.
know what you're doing.
That starts early. Mine have
Yeah.
another week still, which
Um,
is that is fine. That's fine.
yeah. They get like 3 weeks off here.
Oh
I
jeez.
mean, that's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot.
I
And
hope my teens are mostly doing college
Yeah, but
work,
you
but
homeschooled. It
I
doesn't really
homeschool, so
count.
mine are always here. Always.
yeah,
But
always.
but they're on break now cuz, finals are done now.
So they're home.
It's okay. That Christmas like chaos, like it kicks in real soon, like real early, and then it doesn't stop for a long time.
Yeah.
So, in this book you focused on foster care and Clay's upbringing.
Yeah.
Um I like that you drew some light to foster care,
Hmm.
and I really think that added an element to who Clay was. Did you have inspiration for going with the foster care for him, or just that's who he was and that's how he spoke to you?
That's who he was and that's how he spoke to me. I mean, I've just done a lot of research, especially recently, into foster parenting and all of that, trying to figure out if that is something that we want to do as a family.
Hmm.
And it's sad. I mean, it's a very sad thing,
Hmm.
especially nowadays. There's so many children in foster care, so many. And like the people that should be there to help these foster children, there's not enough of them, or they're overwhelmed, or,
Hmm.
I mean, or their hands are tied. And so just doing my research, and I didn't plan on that for him. Like it just came to me. Like his whole story like when they're having their major fight and she's getting ready to leave. I didn't know that that had happened. And I took 3 days off after writing that scene because I was like, do I want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt uncomfortable, but I was like, this is not, it's his story. It's very weird because in my head, he's like a real person. But
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not my, like, it's part of who he is and why he is the way he is. So
You
I
say it's weird, but then we talk about these characters
Like
like
they're
they're
real
real
people.
people and they're
and
real in our hearts, you
yeah,
know. Clay's
and
story
But
was
but
very
that is
touching
the
for me.
testament to a good author who can write a character that we like fall in love with, and it's like that is a real person to me in this way.
yeah, and I mean, and he was real to me too, or he's
Mm-hmm.
like in my head, and the things that he went through growing up, and I could just imagine how that would harden you.
Mm-hmm.
And it did him in some ways, but in some ways it made him, I don't know, better, you know,
I
in a
think it
way.
made his heart more open and accepting
Yeah.
a little bit because, you know, he didn't he could have very easily overpowered Willow and been like, "No, just do it this way. This is the way it's going to be. I'm in control. I'm the boss."
Yeah.
But instead, he was very respectful of her boundaries. And he, especially, you know, with some of her own hangups that she had, and I don't want to spoil any of that, but he just was very respectful of her and her boundaries. And to me, that's one of the sexiest things a hero can do is be respectful of someone else's boundaries.
I agree.
Well, and I think with Clay and the way his story played out, like he has a vulnerability with the people he cares about and the people he trusts, where people like that are just a passing piece of his life, they don't get that. So they get like the hard image of Clay. But when he truly lets somebody in and he wants to let somebody in, like he has this moment where he's like, I can open my feelings and let them in a way that I wouldn't do it with just a random person that he met.
Yeah. And I love that, you know, Willow had dated a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a few of my other characters would not have been so okay with that, maybe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But he like made it a joke, you know, maybe not a joke, but he was like, oh, this another guy that you
Mm-hmm.
dating, you know? And I appreciated that he was just accepting of who she was.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that she was friends with everybody. I just,
Well, except the hockey dude. He was kind of a
okay, but
Yeah,
I felt bad for him.
I do too. And he needs
he
his
was
own
he was a
happy
dummy.
chapter.
He does.
Absolutely. But think about like a guy in that position. I imagine
Mm-hmm. That's
that
true.
that's how, like, your whole, like, everybody in the world, like, bows at your feet and just gives you whatever you want and accepts it,
Yeah.
you know?
And she was still hanging around. She was still doing things with
She
him
dog sat for
and
him.
dog sat for him. And so he didn't realize that she wasn't in the same place. And I did. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
He was friend zoned without realizing he was friend zoned.
Well, and I
I
almost
think
feel like,
he put himself in the friend zone, though, you know?
but did he even know what the friend zone is? I wonder if he's one of those
I don't
guys
know.
that's never been friend zoned. So,
I
like,
don't think he
was
does.
not good at reading the signals. And
Yeah.
her roommate, I
Leah,
would have loved
right?
more
Leah.
from Leah. Um,
Yeah.
Is Leah getting a book?
Yeah. She's going to end up with one of the brothers.
okay.
Yay. I think
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I like that so
She's a
much.
doctor.
She's
Yeah.
a doctor.
And is she a doctor at Vanderbilt?
Yes.
Vandy's Belt, which just so
Vandy's
you
Belt.
know, whenever somebody will say something about Vanderbilt Hospital, I mean, I'm always like, you mean Vandy's Belt? From Assumption, because anyway,
It always comes back to Assumption.
you know that it does for me.
It does. But no, she's a doctor at Vanderbilt. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Which brother? Now I got to go back and read Willow again to figure out which brother she's going to get. Don't tell us. We'll be surprised. We'll be surprised.
Do you know which one she's going to be with?
Well, I'm sure she does.
Well, because some authors like they'll say that they think it's going to be one, but then they trick us because they're dirty teases.
Well, sometimes things change. I mean, because I'm writing until I keep saying everything is until.
Everything is until.
When I'm going to be writing Tucker's book, I might find, something else comes up. And so, it's hard to know for sure what's going to happen until it's happened.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think she would be a good mix with Miles. I think that would be good, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What do we know, right?
What do we know? We just read the books. We don't write them.
So in the chat, I have put Aurora's Goodreads, her Facebook, and her Amazon. Make sure you're following her on Amazon. You will be notified when books go up for pre-release. Somehow I missed it.
You were sick. That is probably
I was.
why.
This cold thing is for the birds. I hate it. Okay, so do you have a game, Leah?
I do have a game.
Okay,
we're gonna play this or that.
So before we get to the game, I will say I want to just give a shout out to the Buzzing About Romance podcast. We are currently voting for our top community reads of 2022 over on our website, and I will put that in the chat. And one of Aurora's books is up for the vote. Help me out, Leah. Who has it?
I think it's Reckless.
I think Reckless is
No, there's a lot of books there.
We read a lot of books this year. Yeah, it is Reckless, which is such a great book. So you can go over there and vote, and we'll announce the winner on our episode that drops Christmas Day. That'll be a list of our contributors' best top reads, and then the community top read. So go over and vote now. Okay, Leah, this or that. Here we go.
Okay. So coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Always
chocolate
coffee.
Or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Ice cream or cake?
Cake.
Oh, no.
Cake. Yes, Leah, cake. I know you have this hatred of cake.
I do have a hatred of cake. Would you rather be cold or hot?
Neither.
Which is why she lives in Nashville, where it's like a temperate 60 degrees.
I would rather be cold because you can always put on more stuff.
Right. People get angry when you take your clothes off.
Yeah.
Some people do. Some people don't.
Some people don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Beach or mountains?
Oh gosh, that's hard. Beach.
Ocean or pool?
Ocean.
French fries or onion rings? And I know I said that real weird, so I'm sorry about that.
I was like, what are you going French what?
And then you're very disappointed in my response.
Well, it's probably because I'm not responding. Onion rings every time.
French fries.
Do you like a curly fry or a straight fry though?
Straight fry.
Do you know what fries are really good? Five Guy Burgers have these Cajun fries, so they're like spicy. Anyway, they're very yummy.
I do like a spicy fry. Dogs or cats?
Cats are easier.
They are really easier.
Early bird or night owl?
Oh gosh, night owl. I'm like, I don't know. Things have changed.
It's hard when you have kids. It's hard.
See, I'm a night owl, but I have to wake up early because of my children. And so it kind of It does not go hand in hand sometimes.
I'm a night
And
owl
also,
with a
I'm an
nap.
idiot, and I always start a book at like 10:30 at night.
Don't do that.
Never fails.
Yeah.
Don't
Pizza
do
or tacos?
Tacos.
I agree. I had tacos for dinner tonight. It was
I wanted
delightful.
tacos for dinner, but we ended up, I had a chicken and waffle sandwich instead.
I made a sausage tortellini soup
That
tonight.
sounds
Oh,
good.
that sounds good.
Can we go to Aurora's house and have soup?
Yes.
Yeah, sure, come on over.
Okay, sweet or savory?
Savory
Pancakes or waffles?
pancakes.
It's waffles. Everybody, that's the wrong answer. Everybody loves waffles. Donkey says so.
So
Okay.
the boy child won. Hold on. He won, like they had his Boy Scout Christmas party. He got like this waffle iron, but it has a Christmas tree pancake on one side. So you get a pancake and a waffle.
Look at that.
So
Oh, so
are waffles served in stacks or are they served singular? Would you consider
can you stack a waffle?
To be sure. But yeah.
See, she said yeah.
Flat object.
we had this question the other night and I was
Drunk book
like,
club.
and the answer was supposed to be stack of pancakes. And everyone's like, no, the answer is waffles.
No, we said you could stack the waffles.
It was pancakes.
It wasn't that the answer had to be waffles.
The correct
But
answer is French toast. I'm a fan
Yes.
of the Green Witch.
I love French toast.
French
I do too.
toast.
Would you rather stay home or go out?
Yeah.
I like to stay home.
I like a stay home too.
Oh, excuse
Which
me.
is why I like books. I can stay.
Would you like? Oh, here's the next one: movie or book?
Book.
Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburger.
Okay, 90s rap or 90s pop?
90s rap.
90s rap?
Yeah.
And I still know all the words
there is
to
an
Enforcer.
incorrect answer for that. So I just was curious if she got it right.
I still know all the words to Enforcer by Snow.
I actually was looking at a thing and it was like talking about like the top the top rap song of like the 90s. And I was like, oh, I like that one. And I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
It was a good list. But now I can't remember where I found it. That's all I have for this or that.
That's all you have for this or that?
That's all I have.
Who would have thought that pancakes and waffles are the most decisive thing we talk about tonight?
It's on brand.
I mean, it kind of is. Also,
Well,
your hatred of
I have
cake, we need to
I have
fix.
to say though, it depends on what kind of waffle we're talking about. Like, are we talking Eggo waffles? Are we talking like
A Waffle House waffle.
yeah, no. Ugh, Waffle House.
Not
Ugh.
Waffle
I don't know. I've
House.
never been to a Waffle House.
No,
Okay,
we're talking
well-
like a high-end Belgian fluffy.
Yeah, like
waffle.
a Belgian waffle, a waffle.
So the creperie down the street from me, they make a chai waffle. It is delightful.
I love crepes.
They
I was
do make
gonna
really
say.
good crepes too.
I just want to have a place. I just want to have a creperie in town, and we don't. So
I can walk to it. It's at the end of my road. Like no joke. It
There-
takes me. It's a 5-minute walk.
a couple years
Do they
ago at
have,
our
like a Greek crepe.
Uh, they have a chicken pesto crepe. They have like spinach and mozzarella. No, spinach and feta crepe. There's no olives or anything in it, but the spinach and feta crepe is really good. They have a Nutella crepe because they do sweet and savory crepes.
Wow.
My husband always gets the bacon and egg crepe, but they have like the thick slab cut bacon from like a local farm on top, like, and it's really good. They do one with chorizo and they have a bossy crepe. Now I'm getting really hungry for these freaking
I know.
crepes.
I'm like, I want a crepe. There
my
used to be a place. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. There used to be a
There-
place.
There was a place in New York that we would go to, and they had like a Greek crepe with hummus and
Mm,
like spinach and olives and feta
that sounds amazing.
potatoes and all like.
I should email the owner and be like, hey, this sounds really good. Do you think we can do it?
Yeah. Suggestion.
Mhm.
Suggestion. My mother used to make one with like creamed green beans and chunks of ham in it. It was like a Swiss cheese sauce inside the crepe. They were called Old Tavern crepes. They're delicious. Do not make that face. They are delicious.
Like the creamed green bean is what's
But it
making.
was
I
just
like a
chunks of
green
green bean
bean.
with cream, like a Swiss cream
Oh, okay.
and chunks of
Okay.
ham. Like the green beans were not creamed.
Okay.
The sauce was creamy.
'Cause
Anyway,
you had me questioning the creamed green bean part. The
Yeah.
rest of it sounded okay.
They
Like
just
the
were
flavor
green beans.
profile, I would eat that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that was like pureed green beans.
No,
like
no, I'm
baby
sorry.
food.
Yeah.
Ooh. Susie said she found a recipe to bake pancakes in a jelly roll pan. That's her Thursday goal.
I
Okay.
mean,
That is a good goal, Susie.
it's not a bad goal to have.
Oh, and Jen, they do have the chocolate. They have the Nutella and strawberry crepes at the creperie down the street, and I've never had one as good as theirs.
When we
Not
went
ours.
to Paris, we went to see, Paris, and we got
Mhm.
to the Eiffel Tower, and there was a crepe place right outside. Did we go see Paris? No, we stood out there and we ate, I don't like a dozen
You
crepes
ate crepes.
the whole time that we were in Paris. I was like, this is great.
It
Best
sounds.
crepe.
Oh,
I mean,
I would go for the crepes.
I would just want to do a tour of patisseries. So, I mean, I like a macaron and a cream
Yeah.
puff and just,
I would gain so much weight.
my
And
butt's big
people are
enough.
just walking around with sticks of bread. That was their lunch. I was like, wow, this is like my dream world.
Right.
Like,
Wait, they
it's
just walked
possible.
around with like
Yeah,
loaves?
it was like a loaf of bread to eat for lunch. But actually,
That sounds amazing.
I was going to say, that really works for me. I can eat bread every meal.
I like all those things.
yeah.
Okay, so Aurora, everybody can find Until Willow out now wherever they buy their books. And then your next book is coming out in March, and the title again?
Or never.
For Never. And that's a fake fiance coworker. Oh my God, that cover, that book.
I know, I love the cover.
Discover it.
Mhm.
Yes. It's
So
so
pretty.
good. That is okay. I guess I'm buying another book. Don't tell Mike.
The book ban is. I
Still in
bought the
place, huh?
ebook. I have to. Paperbacks can't happen right now.
Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Make sure you grab your copy of Until Willow. And Aurora, thank you so much for giving us your Tuesday evening and hanging out with us here on YouTube.
It was so fun.
Until next time, everyone.
Happy reading, everybody.